Hi YouTube. Today I'm not gonna do gameplay video. I'm going to discuss the patch notes with you. They were just released like 1 minute ago on Twitter. I saw Hearthstone post a link with the patch notes. I haven't looked at them yet, so I thought maybe we could go over them together in this video. I'm not gonna like talk about the changes too much and how they are gonna impact the meta or not. I just want to have like a quick look at them, and then I want to know what you are hoping for or what you are looking forward to playing when this patch goes live in an hour from now. But okay, let's have a look at the patch notes. So they are going live today in 1 hour from now. Um, Wait, there's a system update here. It says all Death Knight cards with any 3 rune requirements. So, for example, the triple frost, triple blood, or blood frost unholy are now removed from discover pools. That means whenever you play, for example, a Nerubian Vizier or any other discover spell, like in any of the DK decks, you will not be able to discover, for example, Vampiric Blood. That was always a very annoying one. Or what else? The Frostworm's Fury. You cannot rediscover them. So it doesn't matter if they started in your deck or not. I think like it doesn't matter if you were a Frost TK. I don't think you can like generate more of them. So there will be no more of these like very strong cards in the discover pool. That is definitely a nerf, because one of the things that DK was very good at was discovering more stuff, like more and more and more. So this is definitely gonna like have an impact on it. But I think DK is still very strong, and we might need some more nerfs. So let's see what we are going to do. Here we're starting with the nerfs. First nerf is Rowdy Fan. Old battle cry, choose a minion and has +4 attack while this is alive. New battle cry, choose a minion, has +3 attack. Okay, so they are not going to change the stats on this card. It will still be a 3 mana 1/5. They just chose to give Rowdy Fan +3 attack instead of +4. So changing the attack on this minion. Dev comment, Rowdy Fan has gotten a lot of attention in combination with Lady Steno. Powerful combo at high levels of play. It is, yeah. It is mega toxic when you face that. It's not fun. Okay, next nerf. Overseer Frigidara. Oh, they better nerf that one to the ground. That is one of the cards that makes Frosty K so consistent. Let's see. Old, 5 attack, 6 health. New, 3 attack, 6 health. Wait. There's no way this is the nerf. This doesn't change the deck at all. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter because you don't play it for the stats. You play it to deal 2 damage to the enemy board and to get your frost spells, right? Because you play this on 6, you're quite likely to draw a Frostworm's Fury, and you're still gonna do that. I mean, what does changing the attack do really? Oh my god, I'm so worried right now that Frostygate is still gonna be good seeing this nerf, because for sure this nerf ain't it. This nerf is not good. This nerf does not matter. I don't believe it. I don't believe this is gonna have an impact. But whatever. Let's move on, because I did not expect this. I thought they would maybe change the mana cost to make the curve a little bit more awkward for Frost DK, but now they can still curve 6 into 7, and hello, that is mega strong. So no, not happy about that one. Twig of the World Tree. This is for wild nerf. I don't play wild, so I don't know what it's about, but I heard a lot of people complaining about it. So let's see. Old, Death Rattle, gain 10 mana crystals. New, Death Rattle, refresh your mana crystals. Okay, that is definitely a big nerf, right? Because at first you gained the mana crystals. Even if you didn't like, if you played this early and you destroyed a weapon, you went to 10 mana, I think. I mean, you got the mana crystals, maybe empty, I don't know, but at least it made your next turns very strong. Don't know exactly how that works, so I'm sorry if that's wrong. But refreshing the mana crystals you already had is definitely weaker. So I guess this is a decent nerf for wild. Hope it is, at least, because I know people did not like it. Then the following cards have been adjusted to be more powerful. Okay, here we go. These are the buffs, and there are a lot of them. The first one is a Rock Master Rune. Okay, Warrior getting some buffs. Old 4 mana, new 3 mana. I hope this will help the Menagerie Warrior a little bit, because I do think the archetype is really, it looks fun, it looks promising. So I hope this will encourage people to try it out a little bit more. I think for 3 mana this is playable. Then the Rifts. Here we go. Verse Rift, 1 mana. Give your hero +2 attack this turn, gain 2 armor. Finale, player last Rift. Okay, I think Warrior Rifts definitely needed a buff. So changing this to 1 mana hopefully will be enough. Then the next Rift is going to 5 instead of 6. So you can play all of this just a bit earlier, and hopefully this is good enough for Warrior. Honestly, I don't know, because I haven't tried any Warrior at all, because I just assumed it wasn't going to be great. So I don't really know how this is gonna affect Warrior, to be honest. Then a Power Slider. Old 1 attack, 2 health. New 2 attack, 3 health. Okay, so they buffed the stats on this one a little bit. Hope it will be good. I don't know. Again, Rush, Battle Cry +1/+1 for each minion type. Yeah, this could become quite big. I think 1 and 2 was kind of weak, so I can see this needing a buff, especially for 3 mana. You don't wanna have those very weak stats. So that was the Power Slider. Then Shield Block, going to 2 mana. Okay, so that might be decent in a Control Warrior deck. Like 2 mana, gain 5 armor, draw a card. I hope it doesn't make the curve awkward though, because you can also just maybe do other things on 2, or wait, now you can go the first Rift on 1 into Shield Block on 2, and that might make your early a little bit better, I'd say. I don't know why they're choosing to nerf to buff Shield Block in particular, but I do think it might have an impact. So yeah, I'm not complaining about that one. Frightened Flunky. Old 2 attack, 2 health. New 2 attack, 3 health. Okay, so they made it a 2/3 instead of a 2/2. Yeah, why not, I'd say. 2/3 is decent stats. You get to discover a taunt minion as well. Like, this can go into like a buff taunt warrior archetype, maybe. Maybe I should experiment with warrior a little bit, because I honestly have some trouble seeing if this is gonna be good or not. Okay. Tori Belor. Old Rush. Death Rattle go dormant. Cast a spell to revive Tori Belor. Revives 2 times. Oh, they removed the revive 2 times, so you can do it like... You can keep doing it. You can keep reviving it. I don't know if it's good now, though. I still don't think this is a good card. But at least you're not limited to reviving it only twice. But I'm not a big fan of the card in general. Just I've never played it in any of my decks. That was it. That was some buffs for Warrior. There was, let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buffs. let's pray for Warrior that this is gonna help the class enough to at least be a little bit viable. Okay, next. Infinitize the Maxitude. Old, discover a spell. Finale, return this to your hand at the end of turn. New, discover a spell, reduce its cost by 1. Oh, okay. So they are keeping the card at 2, but the card you discover is going to be reduced by 1. That's kind of cool, and might allow you to play it on the same turn if it's a 1 mana spell that you discovered. Okay. I mean, reducing cost of cards is always pretty good, so I do think this might make the card see more play. Then Audio Splitter. Old, 3 mana, 4 attack, 3 health. New, 2 mana, 3 attack, 2 health. Okay, so they changed the stats and made it cheaper. So maybe it can fit the curve a little bit better. Yeah, I mean... 3 mana, 4/3, 2 mana, 3/2. I hope it will make the card see a bit more play. I'm not sure about it, but I'm sure there's things you can do with this. And then here, this is This is the card. I think a lot of people were kind of like curious about like why they decided to buff this one now, because Naga Mage is kind of like an old archetype and not really has anything to do with the new expansion. But I think Naga Mage is gonna be strong again. Naga Mage, when this card cost 4 mana, was super strong. And then they nerfed it to 5, and it kind of killed the deck because people were not playing it anymore. But bringing it back to 4 mana, I'm pretty sure, even at 5 health, people are going to play Naga Mage. And it's a fun deck. Definitely would recommend giving it a try if you like playing Mage. But this is a very good buff, I think. Then Arcane Artificer. Old 1 attack, 2 health. New 1 attack, 3 health. Okay, so they are actually just buffing it up a little bit. I think this card already saw play in Mage. So I don't know if it really needed a buff, but I mean, a 1-3 does sound better than a 1-2. And it's a bit easier maybe to tempo it out even in early games now, because it doesn't die that quickly anymore. Did it need a nerf? I'm not sure, but I think it's fine. 1-3 for this card. Oh, here. This is one of my favorite cards of the expansion, and I have not been able to play it yet. So I really hope this is gonna work. Stranglethorn Heart. Old 10 mana, new 8 mana. And it's a tradable card, so that's good as well. But it resurrects all the friendly beasts that cost 5 or more. So every beast you play that died during the game is gonna get resurrected, which is a really strong finisher. And when you play this card, it has a really cool effect on the board. So this is probably one of the most fun looking buffs for me, because I really like playing Hunter. And probably the deck I will try out now, some big beasts, and see if the 8 mana cost makes the card a little bit better. Then, next card, Halderon Brightwing. Old Battlecry, give all arcane spells in your deck spell damage +1. New Battlecry, give all arcane spells in your hand and deck spell damage +1. Okay, that might actually make a difference, because if you want to play like a spell-based, like arcane spell, or spells in general in Hunter, if you want to play a lot of them, you are going to draw them. So if you have some spells in your hand, and you can also give them spell damage +1, that might actually help you like keep going or get stuff started, I would say. So I think for the arcane package, this is probably a good buff. I don't know if you want to play the package though. I still don't know if it's a strong package or worth running. But if you want to try it, like, yeah, why not? Okay, Jazz Base. Old 2 attack, 2 durability. New 3 attack, 2 durability. Okay, so they gave it 1 extra attack. Okay, this is actually the overload package for Shaman, which I think has been kind of weak so far. So I kind of hope these buffs are going to help the archetype a little bit. I think more overload cards were buffed. So this may be one of the decks I will try out as well. Some overload synergies in Shaman. Altered Chord, old lifesteal, deal 5 damage to a minion, cost 3 less if you're overloaded. New lifesteal, deal 6 damage to a minion, cost 3 less if you're overloaded. Okay, so they made it go from 5 damage to 6 damage to a minion. Lifesteal is still here, costs 3 less if you're overloaded. So that means if you're overloaded, this will cost only 2, and you deal 6 damage to a minion with lifesteal. So I think that's definitely a big improvement. And the 1 extra damage can matter. So I do think this can work. Flow Rider, old 2 mana, 3 attack, 2 health. New 1 mana, 2 attack, 1 health. So they actually changed the cost and made it a bit cheaper. They also like adjusted the stats a little bit, because at 3-2 it would be a bit too strong, I think, for 1 mana. But at 1, this is a decent stat, I think. Battlecry, if you're overloaded, discover a spell from your deck. So this is again with the overload synergy. You can try to build a deck around that, probably include the overload stuff, and it might be stronger now. I mean, it should be because it's buffed, but I'm still a bit worried about that Frost DK not really properly being nerfed, so let's see. Lightning Storm, old Overload 2, new Overload 1. I think that's decent actually, because Lightning Storm is a good AoE, dealing 3 damage to all enemy minions, but overloading yourself for 2 always felt kind of hard, because that's not something you you really want to do, because that makes your next turns always so much worse. But I think Overload 1 is fair. So Lightning Storm, Overload 1, I can see that work. Then we go to Warlock. Crescendo. Old 3 mana, new 2 mana. I think that's a good buff. This is probably going to make the archetype with the fatigue damage more playable. So this is also on my to try list, I'll say. Because they buffed multiple fatigue synergy cards. So this is definitely an archetype they want us to try out, and I am going to do that. Crazed Conductor. Old 5 mana, 4 attack, 5 health. New 4 mana, 3 attack, 4 health. Okay, so they made it a bit cheaper and adjusted the stats again. I think that's fair. And definitely should be included if you want to try the fatigue package, I think. Siphon Soul. Old 5 mana, new 4 mana. Oh, I mean, it's a removal. It can remove a big minion, but do you really want to play it in your deck? I'm not sure about this one. Like, either for 5 or for 4 mana, I'm struggling to see which deck would really want to include that in their lists right now. So for me, I'll probably not put this in any of the decks. Okay, next up. Record Scratcher. Old 2 attack, 2 durability. New 3 attack, 2 durability. Okay, so they gave it plus 1 attack. Death Rattle, refresh 1 mana crystal. Play combo cards while equipped to improve. Okay. I think, yeah. I think 2/2 was like pretty weak for this weapon, especially since it costs 3 mana as well. 1 extra attack can actually change, I think. Can change, and it might see play now. MC Blinktron. Old 3 attack, 4 health. New 5 attack, 5 health. Wow. Okay, so they're making it a 5/5. That's a big improvement in the stats of this minion, which actually might make it a bit more playable, because 3/4 was pretty mess stats, to be honest. Plus, this is a good way of like weapon disruption as well, because you can, if your opponent has a weapon, you play the Blinktron. The opponent loses their weapon, and it just equips a 1/2 microphone instead. So this is also a bit of like a counter to weapon decks, if there are any. So you can keep that in mind. Then Priest. Holy Nova. Old 4 mana, deal 2 damage to all enemies, restore 2 health to all friendly characters. New 3 mana, same text. So all they did for Holy Nova was make it 3 mana instead of 4. Didn't change the text at all, so it's still gonna deal 2 damage and heal for 2. I think it's still quite expensive. So I'm not sure if you want to run it still, even if it's 3 mana. Then Druid. Kiri, Chosen of Elune, old 4 mana, new 3 mana. I think Solar Eclipse and Lunar Eclipse are pretty good cards. In a lot of Druid decks, they would work well. Do you want to play the Kiri? I feel like no. I don't really personally see it. But maybe there are some decks where it would fit. But I still think like the stats are like 2/2. Meh. Not insanely happy to play that, but maybe it will find some play. I'm not sure. Death Blossom Womper. Old 6 mana, 7 attack, 6 health. New 5 mana, 6 attack, 4 health. This works well with a Death Rattle Druid archetype. Battlecry, draw a Death Rattle minion and gain its Death Rattle. So you can play the Druid location, add a bunch of big Death Rattle minions in the deck, and you play this card, you can trigger the Death Rattle with the location, and Like, you can just keep going and going. I think this is a very fun archetype for Druid. Hasn't really seen much play. Like, at the moment, people are playing the location with Ozumat only to trigger it. But there's like, I'm sure there's other stuff you can do with it, like with big minions. So this is definitely something worth exploring. Okay, then there's a bunch of Battlegrounds updates as well, but I don't play Battlegrounds, so let's leave it at standard. Overall, I think some of the buffs will definitely impact the meta. Like some cards, some decks will see play and they didn't see play before. So for example, Naga Mage will be back. I think the Fatigue Warlock definitely viable as well. So might want to give that a try. I don't know about the Hunter spell, but I'm going to try that myself and see if that works. For 8 mana, the nerfs, to be honest, I am really worried about Frost DK because that Frigidara nerf, I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative or like, I don't know. I don't understand why it was nerfing the attack on the minion when that's like the thing that really doesn't matter that much, right? That's not why you play the minion. So overall, I kind of want to see what's going to happen to the meta now when the patch goes live soon. Am I a little bit worried? Yes, I am. I am worried that some stuff is still going to be very strong. Things we don't really want to see. But for now, I think we've talked about it enough, and it's time to go play the patch and see what it actually did. And let me know in the comments what you think about these nerfs and buffs and how you think they are going to change the meta. And if there are any decks you have in mind of that you want to try out, you can tell me that as well, because I am looking for new decks to try in my videos and on stream. And for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!